Hi, this is Tennille King. We're looking at Complete Studio Manager for Bento. This video is going to cover the libraries for mileage tracking, invoices, and expenses. We'll start with mileage tracking. This is a great business write-off for you, but in order for it to be a legal business write-off, the IRS has very specific information that they want in the event that you're audited. So while it may seem cumbersome, it is what you would need to track. So let's use an example. Let's say today, I'm choosing the date and I'm hitting enter. Give it a moment, it'll pop up. I started at my studio and I was going to a location shoot, let's say make up Sunshine Park. And when I started, my odometer was 10,500 and I got to the park and it was 10,532. You see that mileage total is already calculating for you. That was 32 miles. Now, typically you'd need a new entry to say you were going from Sunshine Park back to the studio. So we would add an entry and enter that. But let's say instead of coming back to the studio, we're still looking at today. I'm starting out at Sunshine Park and I'm gonna go to Target for some props. And I know that it's 10,532 because that's what it was when I got to the park. And then I get to Target and let's say 10,549, I went 17 miles. And then again, if I'm gonna go ahead back to the studio, I would do the same thing from Target to the studio, 10,549. And who knows, maybe Target's closer to the studio. Coming back from that direction, maybe it was only 5 miles. Now with mileage tracking, the table view is great for this because you can see all of your data here in your mileage total column. This is where that show and hide, the summary row is helpful. Here I'm going to show that summary. I've got my mileage total. Here I'm going to choose sum, and now I know so far this year I have entered 54 deductible tax miles. So whatever the mileage reimbursement rate is, I would multiply it by my total mileage that is summed up down here. And that would be my mileage deduction for my taxes. Simple as that. Now invoices, this is great to start with the enter invoice. Oops, sorry, we don't need the split view there. You would first come down and choose what client is this invoice for. Ship to if it's different. Let's say Jane's picking her order up here at the studio, so I don't need to worry about shipping. The order number is automatically calculated for you. Let's say she ordered it today. And let's say she went ahead and paid today. This is all for your tracking purposes. Later when we go through Smart Collections, you'll be able to sort through all of your invoices and orders by all of this information here. And again, as I mentioned in another tutorial, anytime there's a choice field with a drop down, you can always edit these fields. You can change the ones that I've included. You can add your own, delete them, put them in a different order, whatever you like. Let's say Jane paid with her Discover card. And for here, I like to track the session category because when I get my order total, I like to be able to say, Jane had a newborn session and this is what my total subtotal of orders for newborns are, or this is what my average order for newborns. So that's why I've thrown in that session category. By doing that later, when you look at Smart Collections, you'll be able to say, take a collection of newborn sessions in the month of such and such date range and give me the subtotal, and you'll be able to also look at average orders and that sort of thing, which we'll go over in another tutorial, but that's why that choice field is important. Maybe you'll want to run a report later and sort and find out how many people were print clients, how many were digital clients, or do you have packages that include both print and digital? Again, you can edit this information. You can choose not to use it if you like. Let's go ahead and say that Jane was a print client and her order is paid. I haven't sent it to the lab yet. Again, with these choices, make them whatever you want, but these are just things that I find helpful to sort my invoices by and to help keep me organized. And for income account, when I'm doing this for tax purposes to show my income, This is order income. If I was invoicing Jane for a session fee, I could do session fee income. I like to know for my own purposes, which is why I included these as the defaults, what part of my income came from sessions, what came from orders, what other miscellaneous income did I have, and then other areas for tax purposes that you can enter an invoice, so to speak, or a tax income record here. So this is order income. And let's say you can go as detailed as you want. You can say, 10 5x7s of these image numbers, and then list, what the image numbers are. You can add, the price for those, and it's going to total them up for you. You can keep adding lines, 3 16x20s, and what the image number, let's say black frame, image number 5, 9, and 12, and they cost $225 a piece. Whatever the case might be, you can keep entering. You can enter it as one package. It's not tracking specific products in this database, so you can enter it however you like, one big total or in detail. You'll see automatically the summary row is giving you a sum of your total, and it's also tracking your subtotal here. If they had a discount, let's say maybe they had a referral credit, because I think in another tutorial Jane actually does have a referral credit. She has a $50 credit. We're going to scroll down. You can see in the total due, it took off that $50 credit already. There's no cost for shipping. The tax here is 6.75. It automatically pulled the tax for me and automatically gave me the new total. So then as another example, that's, order or a session fee or whatever you like, you'd enter the same way. Let's say for some reason you had to give a refund. This is also your income tracking for taxes, and your invoices income are the same thing. Let's say I had to give a refund to Mike Miller. Maybe, I don't know, you overcharged him or whatever the reason. You enter your date, the payment date. It wouldn't necessarily be a payment type because you're paying back to him, but you could do, maybe you're crediting it back to his Discover card, and this was about a family session, and they did prints, and it's complete. And let's say you need to refund for overcharging. Just making something up to show you a negative. You would put in negative $50. Let's say it's going to be a $50 refund, and it's an even $50 if there was tax involved and you were also refunding that. It would add the tax to make it $53.38. And then for accounting purposes, you've got your refunds. If you have any sales of assets or any interest income related to your business, these are also used for reporting on the Schedule C for when you turn in your taxes to the IRS. So just wanted to show you that option also. And finally, let me go back, I'm sorry, to expenses. I wanted to also show you this printable invoice takes the same information. Let's go back to Jane's invoice so you can see. It's taking the same information from this enter invoice form, but it's putting it in a prettier printable format. You can unlock the form and change your company name to whatever you like. Then lock the form back. And again, same thing, before you lock it back up, put in your studio stuff. Once you do that one time, it's done and it's saved. We see that this was Jane's order. It's pulling if there was any shipping information. This is a slimmed down version. They don't need all that tracking information as the customer that you needed. They can have the order number and the date, what date they paid and how they paid, what the order was. If you scroll down, it brings up their subtotal, the discount, all this information. So if you want to print or even email a PDF, you could do save as a PDF, give it a name, and it would save this as a PDF. You could email it to them, you could print it out, but it's just like a nicer, cleaner version to show the client. There we go. And finally, expenses. This is a great way. In another video, I'll show you how to look at totals and expenses and not only evaluate your business, but actually take these numbers and move them right to your Schedule C come tax time. So anytime you get a receipt, in the earlier mileage tracking, we said we went to Target. So let's use that as an example. Target is our vendor. And I have a problem at Target. I like to spend money there. Let's keep it. We spent $250 and maybe there was some tax and stuff involved, so make it a number like that. I need to choose which expense account it comes from. Now, I can't tell you what to pick. I would ask your accountant how you choose your expense accounts, but these are some pretty basic and common expense accounts that can be used. For me, I know I went to Target to buy props, blankets, whatever. So I'm going to choose the props and backdrops as my expense account. And maybe I want to remember, like, this is where I bought the green blanket and the bucket and a space heater. That's just for my own reference. And obviously save your receipts come tax time. So every time you have a receipt, you keep adding those up. Then when we go into another video learning how to handle these smart collections, I'll be able to scroll through and take a look at, props and backdrops. Well, I just clicked on it. You see this is included, props and backdrops. If I go to the table view, I'll be able to go down to my summary row and find out the total amount that I spent for props and backdrops. So again, I'll go into that in detail in a later video, but just to show you, when you go to this form, you have your receipt, you enter the date, who you bought it from, what amount, and then you choose which account. Again, if you don't like the accounts I made, go in and edit them, delete them, add to them, change them, make whatever notes you like, and we'll be able to pull this information straight to that Schedule C. It's going to make tax time so much easier for you. You're all set? Thanks.